Okay. I don't. Well, see, I don't know if I'm like really recording right now because I'm just trying to get a hold of this stream thing. So I'm just trying to like figure this out. Am I live? It says I'm live right now. So okay. Let me just okay. Hold on, let me just check my channel thing to see if I really am streaming. I just want to see. Okay, let me just okay. Hold on, let me just check my channel thing to see if I'm like. Okay. So if I really am streaming, I just want to see. All right, I okay. So I am really streaming. Okay, so hey guys, I'm using a new streaming device, as you can see, and just to wait, hold on. Let me just turn this mic down for a bit. Wait, no. So just keep in mind, I'm kind of new at this new. I'm using a new streaming system, which is OBS. So I just want to like like be able to do more streams, instead of just like gaming, like play like other games on here or do like any tier making stuff, like because I was actually doing like one of those tier making videos too. So okay, here you go with this Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler review. Now, again, if you have not watched the movie, I suggest you do not watch the stream if you want to like hear me talk about it, okay? Because I'm pretty sure you're gonna like not gonna like gonna be mad at yourself like why would you tell this movie and be like don't join the stream, bro. Like I warned you about this. I warned you. So anyways, so let me start. Let me start. I'm just checking to see what. Okay. 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 Let's start with something first. So from the very first beginning of the movie, we see the recap of where Far From Home, where Mysterio exposed Peter's identity to the whole freaking world. So I don't know how in the hell he's gonna have to deal with all this, because I generally do not know how, but I'm pretty sure he'll figure out a way. So and let's see. So Peter, so everyone's just trying to say, "Hey, that's really Peter Parker," and be like, "Are you a kid?" And be like, and then they went to one of them went to MJ, and be like, "Are you Spider Man's girlfriend?" Like, I was trying to trying to ask him questions, get a hand of him, trying to figure out mask him to see if he was real or not. So Peter and MJ are swinging through the city, trying to get away for from the news, the copters, the everything, And he called Ned. He of course he called Ned called him about this about like, what he's seeing on TV right now, which is pretty freaking insane. So let's see. And then it was Flash who like finally see who Spider Man is, and given the by the dude who like he always used to pick on him, make fun of him, and like bully him, and just like actually the same person as Spider Man, of which who he admires. And so Peter and MJ have swing over the sewer, came out from the sewer, then went to Peter's house, then went to see Aunt May and Happy, and which is actually sad for Happy because like he actually thought that like he was gonna have a real long term relationship with May, but instead Aunt May just said it was just like a one time thing, like a fling, and then like that was not what Happy wanted. I feel really bad for him. I feel really bad for him. I do. So we were crying. So Peter and MJ got there. They they started trying to explain what happened, saying to Happy and his aunt, what happened, that was going on in the news and stuff. If J. Jonah Jameson, all that other stuff. So so like okay, so they explained it. The cops, I think the FBI, they went and came to get Peter. Okay, so they went and came to get Peter, asking questions. Why'd you kill Mysterio? It's like, I mean, come on. It's like even after like the whole thing with him saving people, fighting crime, even with the freaking Avengers too. But this whole end game thing, finding Thanos, which was enough because it's like come on, like seriously. I feel like people are not putting that much faith in like in Spider Man. Like if it was maybe like differently with him, like just revealing his identity if like no one like trying to frame him for like a crime which he did not commit. But anyways, they hauled him in. They hauled in his friends, his girlfriend, Happy, his aunt, and asking him questions about that and like how Peter asked if it talk to Nick Fury, but I think one of the dudes for the FBI said like I'm afraid Nick Fury is not on Earth. He's been on off Earth for like a year now, and Peter was like what? So that because he was so confused because he didn't even because he thought he was talking to real Nick Fury in Far From Home, but it was actually found out like at I think it was like a post credit scene or at the end, not sure, but in Far From Home, where we feel that Nick Fury and Maria Hill are not really real. They're scrolls. They're like an alien race that's like have the ability to like shape shift into like other people. So like it was like the whole like movie. It's like I actually thought it was Nick Fury and Maria Hill, but it wasn't because Nick Fury asked asked him to like impersonate him, just like deal with like Spider Man with like Peter Parker, because he got better things to do with like preparing, and he was like in a ship, and like scrolls are working, weapons and stuff during the Secret War, which I'm guessing is probably going to be the next big event for like all the heroes to come and get her. So I'm like really excited for like films like took place like in a few years, and then I'll be able to enjoy it, and let's see. Okay, what was I thinking? Okay, so they people just ask questions about like how long have you known Peter Spider Man, or why have you just associated with him? Why are you just allowing him to put himself in harm's way and stuff like that? So like okay, so like and then it just took us back to this scene. Now this is one of the biggest scenes, my favorite scenes in all this movie. So Peter had to get himself a lawyer. They don't want to get a lawyer. So and then guess who showed up? And when I saw that stick, I just already knew who it was. Charlie freaking Cox. At, the most you know is he's played the actor as Daredevil, which one of the best Marvel Marvel shows that's ever been like premiered like on Netflix. Because it was actually confirmed by Kevin Feige that he was gonna get Charlie Cox to come in Spider-Man No Way Home to play as MCU's Daredevil, and the fans are just like everyone's just like we're just clapping, was just I know I was shaking a bit because I was like I actually see him on screen sitting down with Peter Parker, aka Spider Man, which is like so mind blowing, which is like so awesome. So like oh man, I really hope they're gonna have like make him get him like put him in like into like other movies and stuff, which is actually like confirmed and have him shown here on screen with Spider Man. So he just oh man, and then someone threw a brick out the window, and then Daredevil just caught it, and then people was like, "How'd you do it?" He said, "Well, like I said, I'm very good glory." Like man, I mean, like he's Daredevil, which is actually pretty interesting because like before like a few years back, there was like an anime movie called Spider Man and Daredevil, which they were like working together to try to take down Fisk and his operations, if I could remember. It's like an anime film, but you could probably like look it up and like pretty sure they have like working together, that type of stuff, which I really like that they put out there. So I would have to like applaud to Kevin Feige for making that happen. Like man, man, like wow. So anyways, from that scene, okay, so what I can remember, Peter tries to go through this whole thing with him being everyone knowing he's Spider Man and also knowing that he killed Mysterio. So like so he tried to go to high school, and then every like the teachers and like the principals and stuff, like they were like, "Hey, Spider Man!" Like even they were like acting like okay, so like like I'm glad they're not like I think it was like two teachers like were attacking him, like not attacking, well, two teachers who were like cool, like, okay, Spider Man, you really did like a good service, like just acting kind of just strange like around him now that he's Spider Man. But one of the coaches were like, nah, you killed him, and be like, nah, they should like lock you up and like like, dude, don't believe everything you see on the news, okay? So Peter Trust, like, he walking through the halls and people just like taking out their phones and just like start taking pictures, recording them, being on IG Live and stuff like that. And also, when oh yeah, Flash, even Flash is like saying like, oh, he's Peter Parker's and Spider Man's best friend, which he's like he's some kind of clout chaser, like he's just trying to like make money and fame off him and stuff. He even wrote him a freaking book about it. And guess what his book calls? Flashpoint, which is like a freaking DC reference to like the film and comic of where Flash Barry Allen went back in time to like save his mom from being murdered, which altered the events of like having Thomas Wayne as Batman instead of Bruce Wayne, and having Martha Wayne as the Joker instead of Jack Napier, whatever it is, which Joker was. So yeah, it was pretty like it was pretty like mind blowing that they used like some DC reference in a Marvel movie. So okay, so like let's see. Okay, so like you get from the high school, and cause and Peter and May had to relocate to like another place in New York. So since that home wasn't safe, so anyways, Peter, MJ, and Ned were like having like these talking about these futures and stuff, like having going to college, like in Boston, have like a new life, new start, trying to get into MIT, which is understandable. And throughout weeks and months, I weeks and months. So okay, I just don't want to miss anything here from when I seen the movie. So weeks go by, months go by, days go by. Peter got a letter from MIT, and so does Ned and MJ. So they all got the letters. They have opened it. They meet at MJ's job, which is like a donut shop. So they sat down. So they all opened their letters like sesame nuts. So I was like, Peter probably didn't get in, which is understandable. But I didn't expect for Ned and MJ to get in because they weren't exactly like. I guess like it would make sense because they were involved, like they knew about him, they hang around him, they associate with him, so they all didn't get in, which was like pretty sucked for all of them. So Peter felt really responsible by having like just because he's like friends with them, he's like they're associating with him, like helping them, like like stuff. But people don't just can't understand that like they helping them, catch the bad guys, like you know Vulture, Mysterio, like. But yeah, people still think that Mysterio is like a hero, and then some people like believe in Spider Man, and who is still good. So, anyways, Peter feels like he should fix this somehow, but MJ said, "Just I want to fix it, like for none in the world, just say it's fine." And Peter looks at like the wizard, I think Doctor Strange ornaments in the donut shop where MJ was working at. He sees this to tell Doctor Strange because he's like a sorcerer. So he's like magic and junk. So he went over to the sanctum to like see Stephen Strange about him to make sure like go back in time to make sure that never happened where Mysterio tell the whole world that Peter Parker is Spider Man. But see, it's time is like nothing something it could be like messed with or fiddle around with. Like once you like make one change, everything changes. Like come on, I'm pretty sure we've all seen that like in every movie and like and we've all like know what happens. But even if he could, the time stone he doesn't have it anymore since it was destroyed by all the other stones in Avengers Endgame. Endgame when Tony snapped his fingers and then his yeah, and then stones were all crushed and he died. So Peter he was just because he was just trying to find another way to, and then like Stephen Strange also see that like came up with another idea. He's gonna make sure that people like erase the memories of that Peter Parker was ever exposed never exposed as Spider Man, to make sure that never happened. Uh, so yeah, so because Juan was saying something about that earlier, but like be careful with that, because that could be like catastrophic if you mess up that spell. So Stephen Strange brought Peter Parker to like some kind of sanctuary somewhere in his home and starts doing the spell. Then Peter was asking the Strange, so this will like specific people that want to know my identity, like Aunt May, his girlfriend, his friends, and probably the Avengers too. So happy, So then Stephen Strange, you must know what the spell means. And when I say everyone will not know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, I mean everyone, even including Strange, I think. Excuse me. So like with him like just doing the spell, and Peter Parker was just like, can't some people know like my girlfriend? And then he was like, fine, and don't mess up my spell again, because he's trying to focus on spell. And people was like, my best friend Ned, he knew me a long time before I raised him as Spider Man. So he's like, okay, fine. And then Aunt May, then Happy, and he just kept, change, like talking to more people to learn his identity. Then Strange was like, he let all of that out. It was like purple, like rings like going out and stuff, and there's like everything is just like ruined and stuff. So Peter went to to confront I think the I think the woman that's from MIT from Boston to convince them that MJ and Ned needs to get accepted to MIT. Because it's not fair to them that they're associated with him because of his mistakes. So he went over there with his suit on. I think the suit is what reference to like I think what Tobey Maguire had in, I can't recall which Spider-Man film was it, but I was pretty sure it was one of the three, which he had the suit on, which was the exact same that Tom had in that movie. So something was wrecking, and like the cars was like, and the people were running away from. We see the arms. We all know the arm is, which was freaking Darkhawk, which was Alfred Molina, which was the same actor, same guy from Spider-Man 2, and he looked really good. Okay, but he looked just the same, and so like he said hello Peter, and then it was just like man, his return is just so epic. And then Peter was like suited up, and he was like, "Who are you?" And then Doc Ock was like, "Where is it? My machine." And then people was like confused, like, "What machine?" They're doing the machine. Like, I had the power of the sun in the palm of my hand, which was like the same, the same line. Probably not from what I said, but probably what he said, like similar to that, accurately, like from like in Spider-Man 2. So like it was probably taking like when he was like probably like he was already like overtaken with the arms. So this is probably like when he was started like he started with the machine. I'm guessing probably with that fight scene with Toby, which he had to came in to save MJ too. So he must have like pulled him out of that and brought him to Tom's universe. So he gets off the fighting, throwing cars, and as Spider Man, tries to dodge and try to fight him, try to save people at the same time. And Doc Ock finally got a hold of him, and he was like, "You're not Peter Parker." And then he's like, "I'm so confused because he is Peter Parker, just not your Peter Parker." So and what was expected, was not expecting, was that Doc Ock took a handful of Spider-Man suit and added to his own arms, which is like, oh, this technology is an upgrade. But see, what he didn't know is that it was Stark's technology, and so Peter was able to like hack it and like hack his arms and be able to control his arms remotely. Because he doesn't know about what Stark tech. Because like there was no other heroes in like the previous in the previous Spider-Man movies with like Tom McGuire and Andrew Garfield. So he didn't know anything about them, and so Peter was able to like control them and have them get save the car with the MIT recruiter, and from there save her, get out, and Peter like took Darkhawk back to the sanctum and put him like in a cell. So Doctor Strange was like, "Who is this?" And be like, "Who are you?" Making jokes and stuff. And then he was like, after he's from none of universes, where Doctor Strange explains to Peter that there's like the fabric of time and space, and like mess up with the whole multiverse. It's like Peter actually knows that the multiverse has been confirmed, and then it was like the first time he was ever hearing about this, because he was fooled by Mysterious saying he was just from another Earth to help fight the monsters from other universes and stuff. So he explained. So Doctor Strange explains it and said there could be more. So let's see. Okay. So after like Peter Doc got an instruction about this sort of thing. Oh wait, I forgot this one point singing. I'm so sorry. So after Peter took control of Darkhawk's arms, there was like no, yeah, there was like a green pumpkin bomb, and it was just the most chillest, most epic moment of the freaking movie. Like to hear that laugh, it is just so chilling. Just gave me goosebumps. See, it was like Green Goblin, the good old fashioned classic Green Goblin, aka William Defoe, has returned to play Green Goblin. He is a tremendous actor and does one hell of a job as playing the most villainous character in all of the the Marvel like in the franchise. So like they brought him, he was charging at Peter, but Doctor Strange was like that. So that's sorry I had to miss that important part. So let's see, Doctor Strange. Okay, so Doctor Strange, he he found so he explained Peter, then da 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 da, and then Peter was trying to wash his suit because his suit got slimes, some food slimed on him when they figured out that they saw the news of him like frame saying he killed Mysterio and playing the whole terrorist attack thing. So he was trying to wash it, couldn't come out. So instead, he took it inside out. So it was actually the same suit, the suit that saw in one of the trailers, of the black and gold suit, which is actually the same suit, the black and red suit, which he had made in Far From Home. So he just turned it inside out. I thought it was, I low key thought it was like a new suit or something, but wow, but it actually looked good inside out too. Wish I could say the same thing for like clothing, hats, and stuff, but it did good. It just had like wires sticking out of it. So it still looked good. So Peter was like swinging by, trying to find like the other what who came through, and then it was actually where the power lines, the electric power lines, are where we see like lightning. We saw blue lightning at first, and then we saw yellow lightning, and then Peter had like this thing because like Doctor Strange upgraded his web slingers to like his to like do like his web shooters to like be able to shoot webs that like shoot at anything that like transport them to the jail cell back at the Sanctorium. So he tried doing that, but why through Electro? So okay, so before the movie, we heard that Jamie Foxx was gonna return as Electro. So it was one catch. He wanted to be blue, so it was understandable. So I could work with that. He was just blue in his main Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. Then had to because of purpose. So it was actually cool, but like to see Electro with yellow lightning, not blue. So it was actually pretty sweet to see Jamie Foxx return. And because he had like a few different looks of his, like he has a fade now, he has a gap in his teeth, not wearing no glasses, and he wants like like awkward nerd for what he looked like in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which didn't really like sit well with the fans. But it was actually really cool to see him return and have like a whole different look and stuff, like a different makeover. Had like a whole fight with like and then we see with Spider-Man then had Sandman because it was moving around the ground. Like, who is that? I'd be like, it had to be Sandman, right? Because who else can move on the ground like that or in the ground like that? It was actually Sandman that that was like helping Spider Man and to to fight Electro. And so after this, I think let's see, I think they shorted them out. I think I can't. It was like a big lot, like I said, a lot of scenes in that movie. So like they got Electro in the jail cell, and then he was just trying to. Sam was like, "What'd you do?" And then like Spider was just like, "No, I'm inside." And then Sam was just like, "I don't trust nobody." And like, you saved him, so why if you didn't trust him, then why would you like save him? Like, okay, so like, so he transported, he got saved, man. And he jail cell. Sorry, it's late. It's 1:20. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so they got the lizard. Uh, yeah, I think they sure got the lizard. That was Kirk Connors, and it was Darkhawk, Electro, Kirk Connors, the lizard, uh, and Sandman. So it was like actually really cool to see them in the same room, actually explain to hey, I know this guy. Be like, hey, I know this guy too. And then it was like actually like different films from like different universes, like previous Spider-Man movies. Like it's like some films we never even get to see. So like where we okay, so we took where in the alleyway where we see Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin, hiding in the alleyway with his mask and try hiding his glider and stuff. Which I think his glider and his suit was like pretty much damaged when he transported. So he just there was that voice, the Green Goblin voice, and then he smashed his mask and starts like running off. He was at feast, so Spider-Man got a call from Aunt May saying there was like a man who needed like help and stuff. He was not like from this world. So Aunt May was talking with Norman Osborn, and he had like the green, I think like a robe some kind. And he had like the purple hoodie, which is like, I love it. Like just like that's the color scheme of the Green Goblin, of which he has like purple and green. That's like his classic, costume. So like he was just like pretending to be like confused and don't know helpless so and then Peter was like like he said he's not from this world, so he must be one of the the guys that's come on another universe. So he took like in with like Norman Osborn and got him and put him in the not he didn't put him in jail, but Doctor Strange did. So they got like the villain. Okay, wait. Yeah, yeah, they got all the villains. So Norman was like Otto, and then it's like Doc Ock. He was like, wait, he's like, you died, but yeah, he did die, but he was just like actually just already Goblin at some point before he died fighting Spider Man. So like, it was actually cool because like half the villains, in like right now are like because they were alive like during like their like like getting like powers and stuff so Doctor Strange, I think it was Doctor Strange, was it? Yeah, Doctor Strange was actually explained that, or Dark Ock, that like they actually died like fighting Spider Man, of like which they were like all confused about and be like, no, I didn't die. There's no way I can't die. And it's with like Norman and like they were all just like, yeah, I'm not trying to go back to where I die. She's like, I want to stay here and be like Peters don't agree with that. He's just gonna try to change their fate, try to fix them, like try to be normal. But Dutch String's not with that. It's their fate. It's not something that's you can't avoid. And Peter was like, and Dutch String was like, I'm sorry. It's like Peter grabs the box from Doctor Strange to like with the whole spell and everything. Once away, tries to like run away and like get away from him. Doctor Strange was like getting into this mirror dimension. It was so trippy and Doctor Strange trying to convince Peter. They were fighting. Peter was actually to escape him and like trap him, which was pretty smart because he used like math and like trigonometry or geometry was it? So he was actually in because I didn't think he was gonna get away from him. Oh yeah, I forgot. So after he got up the sanctum, uh, Peter he tried to get away, but then Doctor Strange was like he pushed his soul off his physical form, which was he did that was like something we similarly did that in Endgame where we saw Hulk interacting with the I guess like one of the monks trying to get this time stone and what pushed Bruce Banner the human form out of the Hulk form, which is really cool. So actually, we see that, and Doctor Strange trying to take the box away from Spider-Man from his physical form. He starts moving the box like just, like just like that. Because we actually see like the spider sense like visible. Like it's not completely like full, but you can still see it. Just like and it was actually really cool because we never actually get to see that like throughout like when he was like first introduced into the MCU with his Spidey sense. So it was actually pretty cool. We see that like just for like a small brief moment. So Peter was actually get back to his physical body, this fight, get away, and trap him, and then so the villains they were trying to like now I'm not with this. I'm not trying to go back. But Peter was like, no, I'm gonna change your fate. So he got this idea to like see where he could fix all of them. So he well releases them, gets all back to his place, and actually have like this this technology to help them. So because they didn't have the Stark technology since there was like no other MC heroes in the previous Spider-Man films. It was just Spider-Man. So anyway, so they got like all these cures and stuff, and like and now they thought that like it won't work. So it was actually really cool to have like see Peter working with Norman Osborn of like working with the cures and stuff and like to fix everyone. So he was able to fix Doc Ock, which he was like acting so angry and hearing voices from his arms, and he actually fixed him because at first I felt like I know he didn't have to kill him, and then like he inserted like a new chip on him, but he was whole again. He was like himself again before he even turned to Doc Ock. It was really awesome because seeing all the villains, it was like okay. And someone was like okay, I'm with it. And so because Sandman just wants to get back to his daughter. So some people say like why Sandman was even here, but like I mean, come on. Because what other villain would you have brought back from like the previous films other than Sandman? I mean, come on, what? Freaking let's see, freaking Venom from Spider-Man 3. You really want Venom? Oh come on, it was either Venom or or that or that cracked out heron version of Green Goblin. As y'all know, this second Spider-Man film with Andrew Garfield, they made Spider-Man 2, which is like, or the Rhino, and the Rhino also at the end. So it was like not much choice. So you just picked the Sandman. So, so Jamie Foxx actually just didn't want to like be back to be the one to be like normal because he was like a loser. He didn't want to go back, and like it was just like he just didn't want to be nobody. I understand that. So he just wants to be living energy. Wants to be somebody. So he took like the he took so okay. So what happens? Norman Spider Man was like something was wrong and like the Spidey sense, and like Norman Osborn like he was just faking it. And there goes out like that voice, that face expressions changed, and it's like man, that never gets old. So like because like he didn't actually want to be cured and like into that coward anymore, like this alter ego. So he gets out, fights Peter, fights Darkhawk and Electro, gets that arc reactor, and like starts busting. And Sandman too, which are getting out. As J. Jonah Jameson was like find out where Peter Parker lives. He wanted to get like footage of him like being a menace and all that. So the villains, the lizard got out. Doc Ock was like he tried to get out of that situation, and we see Green Goblin fight Peter Parker. Now it was actually really cool, seeing Green Goblin going hand to hand into like fighting Tom, because like because he fought Tobey Maguire before, so it was actually like really cool seeing fighting with him like going hand to hand, but he was just laughing. He was like like the freaking Joker was Batman was like beating down on him, which is like cool and all. So, anyways, okay, so but the fight progresses. Osborn he grabbed the he was pinned down Spider Man, and then Aunt May was just trying to like knock him out, but Peter was just like, "No, go away, Aunt May. Please get someone safe." Well, Osborn had the glider like really just on the behind Aunt May. It was like, oh my god. Because this is the exact same situation like in Spider Man, the first Spider Man, Tobey Maguire, which he had like the glider behind Tobey Maguire was gonna kill him, but then he sensed it, dodged it, and accidentally killed himself instead. So it actually hit Anime, so I was like, oh my god. Like I was just not expecting for Anime to die next, because when Anime dies, P out of nowhere. I mean, he has Happy, so like his friends too. So and then then Norman just threw a freaking pocket bomb and Peter tried to like catch it and like but Alex exploded. Aunt May said the famous quote as we all heard in every Spider-Man film: "With great power also comes with great responsibility." And it was just actually great interesting that Aunt May said it, because usually it's like Uncle Ben said that, and it's like really interesting to hear it from Aunt May, because like in the MCU we never hardly because Peter never mentioned Uncle Ben, so it was like probably something different, or probably God know we didn't want to try something different with like Aunt May stuff. So and I was really hoping she would pull through, but she died. It was like so emotional. People was just like so mad but sad at the same time. The cop showed up. Happy was there, and he had to get away. It actually he was at his lowest point. His Aunt May, the one person who took care of him, has died, and then we saw back to Ned and Ned's house. His I think it was mom or grandma, and MJ figuring out where Petey is, what's his next move. So Ned got like one of like I think like the rings of where he got from Doctor Strange, or I think that's like Peter got from Doctor Strange, gave it to Ned. Which we had like his, and then he's like magic, because like he had like this thing he said like his ancestry, like he like people like had like this magic stuff. So I thought it was just like some kind of like joke, like Joe Light just to play with him, but he actually did. He was actually mad. So I'm like, when he first did that, said find Peter Parker, like he did with the rings, like he just like with Doctor Strange did, and then at first it was Tom Holland, but it was actually none other than Andrew freaking Garfield coming back, and people was just freaking out. I was geeking out. I was like, yeah, yeah. It actually brought me so much joy to see Andrew Garfield back to playing Spider Man. He was actually one of my favorite live action Spider Man that I actually enjoyed with, because because Andrew Garfield really like loved playing Spider Man, like like the first two movies, and like be able to like have like the personality, the attitude, and like just like the joy of it. Like he's like a tremendous actor, and he's like one of my top favorite like Spider Man. So like Andrew Garfield explains like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm MJ." Like, huh? Because he doesn't have it, and I mean he doesn't have like Mary Jane Watson, per se, but he has like Gwen Stacy, which is who's like an MJ to him. So it was actually really cool. So they had to like prove that he's not like some evil clone or something. So he just shows off like as of him wearing a suit ain't enough. So I had to show off his powers and stuff. And of course he has web shooters. Same as Tom Holland. And now Ned just did like this Find Peter Parker, where we saw freaking, oh my god, the OG. Toby freaking Maguire come up, and he looked, and he aged like he looked really old, like compared, like he looked really young, like in the movie. So I mean, the movies was like started like around the 2000s, where it was like a baby and a kid back then. So it was actually pretty really cool to see him on screen, just again. So he's actually like he like see like he are you Peter? And it's like yes, he's Peter Parker, and so like where he sees Andrew Garfield, which is like another universe. So he sees him, and then they're like both see each other, be like, and they were fighting a little bit, testing out their powers and stuff, like wall crawling, speed, strength, and like webs. So it was actually really cool. So they just like talked, and like he'd be like MJ, and he was like, I don't know, I have an MJ, so Mary J. Watson. So okay, so like Ned and MJ was explaining they had like a Peter Parker in their universe that he was like so heartbroken. He's like so sad and heartbroken, like his Aunt May dying. And we see like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire was like over like on the scene, like one of the best shots, just like on the tower. I think it was like at school, I think, or something, or someone been. I can't really remember, but from the moonlight, it was so cool. Like in the same area, like the same room as all three of them, and that's they share like their past names with like Uncle Ben, losing Gwen Stacy, and it was just and have like all the quotes that said to him. Tom McGuire's Uncle Ben said that. Andrew Garfield's Uncle Ben said that, but Tom's Aunt May said that. So it was just having to share like their lives and stuff. So it was actually pretty cool. So after that, he so they went into the high school, Tom's high school, to figure out some antidotes and stuff for like and some other stuff for the villains. So they were like all just doing their like because they're all scientists, every single one of them. So they were just like collecting antidotes, and like cures and like machinery and stuff like that. And so like Andrew was just so like surprised seeing all three Peters just working in the same room, which is so good. And which was like so favored that like Tom McGrath actually revealed that like told him that those things come after you. That like he doesn't have any web shooters, and then Tom was like, "Wow, that's cool." And then Andrew was like, "How how are you even doing?" Like he was just so intrigued that the webs just come out of him like natural. I mean, no web shooters, no machine to him that allows him to do that. Just runs out there like out of his wrist. As Tom McGrath, he hit his suit like wearing his under his casual clothes. So they meet up at the Statue of Liberty where we see the shield, the Captain America shield, which I think that has like an impact from the TV show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it's probably had to do something with that. So as they all get here to trying to like because the humans are playing a trap for them. So they gather there, all of them, talking before the fight. Be like, have you ever had a red blockage? And be like, yeah, he had. Because Tom McGraw was explaining, in Spider-Man 2, he had like an existential crisis. His powers wasn't working like they were used to, and they were all comparing like who is the biggest scariest villain you ever fought. And he was like he fought like like an Iligu like from outer space, and then Rachel was like, oh your y'all's are cool, but I had to fight a big Russian dude in a rhinoceros suit. Like just you see like a bit of him, so you could have seen more. And I still would have made the wish me Spider-Man 3. That would have been like tremendous, like awesome. Same as they did for Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire too. I still wish they did. Because most people say they could maybe they could still do it. Even with just like a few years, like. So, anyways, they were talking red blockage, and like so be saying, "You're amazing. You are amazing." Like to Andrew Garfield, which is awesome because he's the amazing Spider-Man. Said unlike in his titles, which is like actually really freaking cool. So they were like had like the villains here. They were all fighting stuff, trying to get the cure, and it wasn't working because none of them have actually worked as a team. Well, I guess you would I guess like Toby worked with like Harry and Spider-Man 3, but I guess Andrew was working alone. So I know they have like for like in like I guess like teams of like maybe two or three, you know. So like it was just like because because they didn't plan for anything to like fight and stuff. I had no coordinate attacks, you know. So they were just not doing that good. So Peter actually Tom was actually telling them that like, hey, I don't want to brag, but because I have like joined a group up called the Avengers, like finding out this alien, like Thanos, and then Toby was like, "Great, you're Avenger," and he was like, "What is that?" And then Andrew's like, "Whoa, are you a band?" It's like, which is pretty funny because like Toby and Andrew don't have like any other MCU heroes, so it was just like a solo hero with Spider Man, which just makes sense. So Tom was just like we had to plan to go to the attacks, coordinate attacks and stuff, which is pretty awesome. And we saw that bit before they were fighting. Toby had like a back problem, his back while swinging, seeing as like he's old, and it was like pretty cool that like an angel was like be able to help him crack his back like that. Since they were just like so like that same spider power. So like before the fight, like Andrew was just like having like the time is like I was saying, I love you guys. You guys like I never had brothers before, which is like the deep bond and like the joy of like having all these Spider-Man working together, which is like a wish, a dream come true. So they'll find the capacitate, the villains and stuff, curious and stuff. And actually, Goblin came in at the last second with his get up and stuff, like with the goggles and stuff and the purple hood, which is like I think like a reference to the classic Goblin suit in the comics, and I guess like put a mixture of the Hobgoblin, which he had like the hood and stuff. So it was actually pretty cool to see that on film, which he because he smashed his mask. So the shield came down. He wrecked everything, fucking bombs, which is I think Doctor Strange came in because he was trapped and he like had like the box thing and like the Green Goblin threw Hunker Bomb in it after he just ambushed him, came in. So the shield came down. It was wrecking MJ and Ned. They were MJ was falling. MJ was falling, and Tom tried to save her. It was actually the same thing as the scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2 where Andrew tried to save Gwen Stacy, but he thought he did, but then he just snapped her neck, forgave her whiplash, which was sad. So it was actually pretty cool because like when that trailer saw that scene of MJ falling, Tom trying to save her, I'm like people say Andrew's about to save her because he felt so guilty of not saving her like in time in the right way. So he was just feeling this way a long time. And it was just so freaking good that they actually redeemed himself by having Andrew save MJ MJ of like the same way that he couldn't for Gwen Stacy, and it was just like so heartwarming, just so freaking awesome that they did that. Which I really like. That was like my other favorite scene in the movie. Like there was like a bunch of favorite scenes in the movie that I like. I just couldn't pick one. They were all so good. And as we see, that's like Tobey Maguire, and and it was actually seeing Doc Ock like before, like he was Doc Ock to see Tobey Maguire as Spider Man, and that was like when they was like fighting, and it was just like actually seeing him like he's my boy, you all grown up, like he's actually grown like an adult now. It was just actually so cool seeing that interaction with Doctor Octavius, like Toby. Like I said, the whole fight at Green Goblin, that Strange came in, and Andrew saving Peter. I mean Andrew saving MJ. Okay, so all right, so we see like where Tom was fighting Norman Osborn because he wanted to kill him. Because he's not the only one that ever had to felt this way to kill their enemies because of they killed their loved ones. So they started fighting. He and Tom was not holding back at nothing. He was not pulling his punches. He was giving it all, just punching him, punching him. And he was actually about to stab him with the glider. but Tobey Maguire stepped in because I thought he was just gonna stab him. Actually, didn't kill him. I was like, excuse me, like please don't do that. So he stopped it, and he actually stopped him. And I was just so freaking happy that they actually did like because it was like the exact same way in Spider-Man 3 where Venom tried to stab Toby with like Harry's hoverboard, and where Harry jumped in front of it and like got himself stabbed with it. So I'm actually glad like it was a that scene that happened, that reference to that in that Spider-Man 3 movie. And Norman just stabbed Tom McGraw. I was like, no! Like, I was just like, DA better not kill my boy OG Tobey Maguire, bro. Like, I was gonna be so pissed they're gonna kill him off, but he eventually, got through with it, and with like freaking Norman, and then Thomas actually gave him the care and stuff, and then Norman was like, what have I done? Because it's just like it was just so sad. Like he was like, man, it was like some redeeming qualities of like for previous Spider-Man films, because like it was already Toby wished he would have had the cure already in like the first Spider-Man with the Green Goblin instead of actually accidentally killing himself, and with like Andrew with like freaking Gwen Stacy by saving MJ, because I really love they have like to redeem themselves from like their past mistakes, which is like past strategies too with that. So it was actually pretty cool that they did that. I really loved that. One of the best decisions in the movie. So let's see, okay, and like Doctor Strange was like they're starting to come in. Like I think it was like other villains and stuff. Like I see images and stuff. So Peter was like, I mean Tom was like, just erase everyone, everyone who would forget that I'm Spider Man. Like I mean everyone. And Tom was like, Steven was like, are you sure? Because she said, and then Tom was like, no. And it was just, I didn't really gonna go through this because can they just like, I don't know. It was just, like, I don't know. I did not want it to happen, but Tom was like saying thank you, Toby and Andrew for helping me, and then just gave him like all like a hug, a goodbye, a farewell hug. It was just so heartwarming, just so awesome they did that. I just hope like maybe in the future films they can come back, when there's like another, no a crisis that'll happen again, But Toby lived, thank God, because I wouldn't actually know what to do myself that they killed them off like that. So Tom was just asking MJ and Ned that they'll forget about him, but then MJ was like, "You're gonna come with us and remember, right?" Like tell us everything that happened, right? So I mean, yeah, that's what Tom was gonna do. So like he went, so it happened. Everyone now forgets that Peter Parker was ever Spider Man, and so as Peter Parker was meeting at donut shop where MJ was working, so MJ and then was waving at Peter like, oh, maybe she did remember me, but then he was waving at his Peter's best friend Ned. As they were talking, and Tom had like this whole note thing saying, "Hey, I'm Peter Parker, like he's Spider Man." So everything's just explaining about what happened or who he is, and just everything about it. But Tom had to change his mind because he didn't want to get on the people that he doesn't want to like get hurt or put their lives in danger or their future in danger after what happened with Aunt May and the whole him his identity like if it's the world this whole thing. So Tom actually went to the grave to visit Aunt May, and I keep forgetting that that's Strange right. Everyone's like memories are like Peter Parker was Spider Man, and so it's like that had me thinking, that really happened, does that mean that Spider Man never actually was in Avengers Endgame or the whole Civil War stuff? Does that like not? Is that like not exist anymore, or does that still is that still count? If they don't know, is that it was just it was just like so confusing because I don't know if it still counts like him not being there or him actually still being there but not knowing his identity. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's people making little videos about it. But anyways, Tom has to live on his own right now, and Tom, like I said, is grave. Happy was just like, how do you know her? So I was like, oh man, happy too. If I got everyone, just it was just so freaking sad and sucks, bro. Like no one would ever know about him. He was just all alone, had no one. But see, Tom preferred that way. So he went to get his own job, has his own rent. This guy was said, "Hey, you had to pay your rent." I thought they were gonna have Mister Didovich show up. I was like, please, if I see him, if they actually got him for this little part in the movie, I would have been so happy. I would have been so overjoyed. It was actually the same. It was actually like a good small rinky dink apartment. Like some people are just like saying it kind of looks like the one in Spider-Man 2 and 3 where Tobey Maguire moved in, which was like yeah, that kind of because I was thinking that kind of reminds me of that. So it was actually showing how Tom I think it was around Christmas time, December, where Tom started setting everything up with his suit and everything. I saw the sewing machine, so I was like, he doesn't have the suits that Stark made for him, or the and some so he made himself. So I guess probably when Doctor Strange did that erases spell, it permanently like I guess must have did some of his suits too, meaning that he don't have the Stark suits. Everyone doesn't know, not even the Avengers, and like doesn't know who Peter Parker is anymore. So it was just so freaking. It was just so freaking like I can't even explain it. Like how I feel about that. But then it got me thinking. I was watching some of these people in the spoiler review on the movie. So if conspiracy people say we've actually wanted to see a Spider-Man who's actually just not Iron Man Junior or Iron Man the next Tony Stark, which people didn't like that at first when he was like in Homecoming and Far From Home stuff like that, like him just using Stark, making him Stu Stark gave him Stu Stark gave the glasses, but now people are actually like really like enjoying like seeing how like these making a sewing shoot for he's using the sewing machine for Aunt May, which is like to make his new suit and be able to live out his own as like Spider Man. I saw the new suit because it would make sense because he won't have no money, no Stark suits, just Tom and just using whatever he can, like from Aunt May's belongings and stuff. So we saw the new suit. It was like so. Some people were saying it was like the new suit that Tom Holland made from the sewing machine was actually inspired by Andrew and Toby. I saw like a bit of it. I saw like bits of it. The symbol stuff kind of looked like Toby, but also Andrews and the back symbol. So it had like the classic iconic red and blue, no black straps. So it was like the full classic suit. He was swinging by, and it ends with him just diving in on his lens, and just that was the end of the movie because that was like people expected for Spider-Man to be his own man, to be his own person, having no help from Iron Man, no other Avenger, having no you know make Stark suits and stuff like that. Just him actually being his own person, using his own brain and resources throughout his life as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Because I didn't actually think that first once I saw the reviews of other people. So I was like, wow, this changes everything. So I'm just wondering, because Tom says he's gonna have like 3 or 4 more Spider-Man films. He's gonna appear in, but I'm just wondering how is this gonna take place with him. Will there be like how is he gonna compress with it? That's like being because he's 17. Because how did he even get an apartment? Unless he was already 18, I don't know something. But when that happened to me. But I'm still happy but sad at this ending. But it just had to happen. But it was a tremendous movie, 10 out of 10, 100%. Tomato, and anyone who thinks that movie was not a good movie, you can f off because how can you not hate on this movie? How could you not hate on it? This movie, I mean, yeah, there was some. I think it was like some people like Sandman. Well, but probably more about Sandman being into the freaking movie, but it was still a good film. I liked it. Then the post credit scene, we see Tom Hardy. Now, be fair, I've never actually seen Venom Carnage, and I was gonna go see it, but I don't know. I don't like. It was just something coming out. I was like, I was like something busy, like schoolwork and stuff, So I couldn't like go see it because I was like, maybe they put it on HBO or somewhere else or get a DVD or something. But it has something to do with that movie. So it's like say Tom Hardy that got brought in into this universe where Peter Parker in. So it was like probably has something to do with the post credit scene Venom vs. Carnage where Venom and Eddie saw the news that Peter Parker is Spider Man. So that's probably had to something to do with him with being blasted into Peter's universe. So everyone, because I mean that said everyone tell me where Peter Parker like anyone who know Peter Parker is Spider Man. So and then at that moment he disappeared, but he left a piece of symbiote, a piece of Venom onto the table. So it's like, oh, I was like, holy shite. They're really gonna introduce the black suit Spider Man, defining the comic accurate black suit Spider Man. But I just wonder if it's gonna be is it gonna be the same personality as the Venom or is it probably gonna be something different? I just hope it's gonna be something different to be have that like yes, like just have it's like a comic relief Venom, still better looking than the one in Spider-Man 3, but still prefer the comic release Venom than the previous one. So it was actually a whole lot of. I would like to just left to just clap and just decorate this whole work, and we just like bring the previous actors, the OG actors in this movie. Everyone just playing their part, executing the lines perfectly. It was just the most tremendous movie. I would love to see it a bunch of times. This is like one of the films that I would watch a bunch of times and not get sick of it. Like literally. Probably soon probably soon or probably soon or many much more you're probably going to be on stream devices or something or DVDs because I know they're about to be stuck out. If you be watching the movie over and over and over again. There was actually a reference to Jamie Foxx after they put the device on him. Jamie Foxx mentioned talked to Andrew like at first because he never actually see Spider Man without his mask off, so it was actually the first time in Spider Man No Way Home. So I was like, to be honest, when I first thought you like with the mask and stuff, I thought you was black. I'm like, nope, he's not black. He's white, and be like, you know. Then Jamie was like, I'm sure there's like a black Spider Man out there, like, oh yeah, there is. That's Miles Morales. See, that was the second reference that I've the second Miles Morales reference I heard in this movie. Heard like in this like in the Spider Man trilogy. So I'm pretty freaking sure like probably like if not the next few Spider Man films in Tom Holland which will be in or probably like maybe further by where Miles will get his own movie or something where we probably gonna have to see Miles Morales like appear like maybe in the cameo or just like in the role like in Spider-Man films and Tom Holland and stuff, which is I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a pretty phenomenal thing. Seeing as Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse will come out in part one, come out in like October 27th, 2022, and with like like I'm pretty sure it would be cool to see Miles Morales too him appear live action because I'm pretty sure they're gonna find a good Miles Morales actor and actually see him on live action, which would be actually be pretty freaking cool. Oh, okay. That was my Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. I did not think it was gonna go on this long with me breaking down every point. But if I had missed anything, let me know below. And just, oh man, I've gone for the sport review like a lot. So thanks you guys, and see y'all next time. Peace.